My life is like a song, full of highs and full of lows, but every note has a purpose. Hi, my name is Emma, this is Rocco, and he doesn't want to be here. My name is a German word which means universal and well-rounded. Though I'm not sure if other people would use that word to describe me, I'm curious on what my friends and family would use to describe me and how that correlates with my name's meaning. I'm going to talk to you about 3 aspects of my life that make me who I am. And I'm going to do that in the metaphor of lighting a candle. First, we have the initial spark, which is where I'm going to explain my fears and how I live with those fears. Second, I'm going to be talking about my family and friends, and along with my hobbies and interests. And this is the flame of the candle. Thirdly, hi Rocco, the final stage, when the candle is finally lit. And that is when I'm going to be talking about my academics and how I use those academics in the future. Every story begins somewhere, and mine begins with discovering the fears that make me who I am today. Now, before I explain this fear, I do not want anyone watching this to laugh at me. I have an immense fear of cotton balls. It is an actual fear. It has an actual name, which I will give to you if I can pronounce it correctly. Cydomlobophobia, which means I am terrified of holding them. It's a sensory thing for me. When I have one in my hand, I physically irk and disgust. It makes my teeth hurt. I can't explain why, but it does. And as you can see currently, I'm wearing clothes that most definitely has cotton in it. I can't explain why I'm okay with wearing clothes and not holding cotton, but my best guess would be that there's so many other materials that go into wearing clothes that I sort of just live with it. I have no other explanation for it, but that's the best I can give. That's how I live with it in my day-to-day life. I don't come into contact with cotton balls a lot. I do have normal fears too. I am terrified of heights and snakes. Those are pretty much the only other normal fear I have. Hi, Rocco. And now that you know my strangest fear, it's time to talk about my family who likes to exploit my fears, along with some of my interests and hobbies. Now we move to the flame. I have a big family. So much family that at family reunions I sometimes struggle figuring out how I'm connected and how I'm related to some people who I haven't seen since my early childhood. I am the oldest of me and my twin sister by 2 minutes. I have 3 younger brothers who, although aren't biologically related to me, are the closest thing I'll ever get to having more siblings. And I tease them a lot like actual siblings, so it pretty much correlates with each other. I grew up with them as family, and they will always be considered my little brothers. My parents have always told me that I was a shy and sensitive kid, which meant my parents pushed me into doing things just to get me out of the house. So one of the hobbies that my parents got me into was softball, and I have been playing that since I was probably 10 years old. I am a pitcher, I am an outfielder, and I am sometimes, occasionally, a first baseman due to my height. Ultimately, it has led me to bring me out of my comfort zone and leave the house more often, which has made my parents proud. Now in my teenage years, I still have the same hobbies I did as a kid. I love watching animated movies, I love reading, and I love spending time with my family and friends. These interests and hobbies have shaped me into the young woman I am today. You've learned about my family and interests, but my story continues with my academics. With my academics still unfolding, we are now moving to the candlelight. I'm a Running Start student, and this is my second year at Whatcom Community College and my senior year at Bellingham High School. I'm studying criminal justice and plan on getting my degree in criminal justice within an associate's and a bachelor's degree through the bachelor's program at Whatcom. Once I graduate, my goal is to begin working as a 911 dispatcher, where I'll be able to help people in their most difficult moments and bring them to a safe environment for whatever they're going through, without having to physically be in the danger, as my mom enjoys. I plan to continue my education and further my career in law enforcement. When I reach my mid to late 20s, I hope to plan and enter into the police academy in Bellingham, where I can hopefully, one day become a police officer. I've always loved helping my community and people, especially when they're at their lowest, and I hope to build a career where I can make a positive difference every day for individuals in need. In review, I have shared the spark, where I shared my fears and how I live with them in my everyday life, and then the flame, which I revealed my interests and family, and finally, the candlelight, which I shared my academics and hopes for the future. Every part of me has a small part in its own, but ultimately, together, they build the full picture of who I am today. It shows how my self-discovery isn't about a singular moment or achievement. It recognizes how every experience, both good and bad, builds me into the person I am today. Thank you for watching. And Rocco says thank you too.